Hey guys, it's Ronen with the Juggernaut, and yet another attachment. So this is the surface grinding attachment. It consists of a contact wheel. It's extra hard, 90 durometer. It's serrated for very heavy cuts, and it's about 5 inches in diameter. Now, I have a carriage over here that is able to slide really smoothly relative to the wheel. And I can attach pieces of stock to the carriage as long as they're ferrous, because there are magnets embedded in this plate. And I bring my stock in to watch my fingers because they are neodymium magnets and extremely strong. It's easy to get pinched. Now, once my stock is attached to the carriage and when the grinder is running, I'm able to take really smooth and even cuts across the surface of the stock. Now, I can adjust the distance of the carriage from the wheel in order to take deeper or shallower cuts or to cut thicker material. There's a knob back here that allows me to adjust it, so here I am moving it in toward the wheel. In addition, I can adjust the angle of this surface plate relative to the carriage itself. So I open that lever, adjust the angle, tighten it down again. Now what this does is it lets me cut tapers. So you can see right now I have about 1/4 inch between the wheel and the surface plate, but as I slide the carriage backward, at some point it actually makes contact. Now that's quite a sharp taper. I cut in about 1/4 inch over 4 inches. But I'm able to cut much shallower tapers as well by setting the angle of the plate shallow. And I actually have sign plate functionality. What that means is the surface plate rotates on a pivot back here, and I'm able to stick precise pieces of material between this stopper and the back plate here, and essentially set a rise over run. The tangent of this angle will be that distance divided by 12 inches, and in that way I'm able to calculate very precise taper angles. That's very useful in knife making for making tapered tangs. I think on my last knife, the tang was tapered at 0.42 degrees, which would be very difficult to set up that precisely without this sign table. Just for reference, cutting 0.5 degrees was clearly too much. The tang got too thin near the end, so 0.42 was the exact angle I was going for. There's a caliper attached to the carriage, so you can tell how far you're moving it in and out as you adjust it. And yeah, that's how this mechanism works. Now, I want to make sure that I'm not taking credit for someone else's work here. Some of you may recognize, this looks similar to the surface grinder made by a company called Oregon Blade Maker, or they may have recently changed their name to Origin Blade Maker. Now, what I did is I took their surface grinder and I adapted it to my machine. The reason I did that is because they're selling this attachment for about 800 bucks, which is a pretty decent deal considering Travis Wirtz is selling an identical setup that would actually fit my machine straight off for $1,800, more than twice the price. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, my machine conforms to his machine's standards. So his surface grinder will work on my machine. This surface grinder should now work on his machine. I just didn't want to shell out that extra $1,000 for his surface grinder. So I took Oregon Blade Maker's grinder, or surface grinding attachment. I machined a couple of adapter plates. And then I also replaced their contact wheel. They were using a smaller contact wheel, and it seemed to be made out of a very soft rubber. Maybe 60 durometer, probably less. I could just bend over the serrations with my fingers. And I replaced it with a 90 durometer rubber because for surface grinding, you want the flattest cut you can get, and 90 durometer will do that. So that's the attachment. You now know how it works. I suggest you check out my other videos if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.